So I thought that the reason I went to university or got an educational qualification is just to get a good job. And that's what I really have focused all my desire and my interest in mechanical things, numbers, everything I've been focused on, getting a good job. And that's all over the years. That's all I thought my skills are for. Natural inclinations I had in me was to help me survive on Earth. So that reason why I came was still nagging. I couldn't answer that question until I went to Ukraine and came back with challenge. It is challenge. My encounter in the history of training in Ukraine simply challenged me that there is a reason I came to Earth, and that I think what I took away mostly from it is this thing called development. I am supposed to be developed because I had just seen it as my growth and development is just what happens along the way. As I struggle to survive, development will be happening. That's the way I had looked at it until after that experience. I said, I was shocked that I had a PhD in mechanical engineering and I didn't know that I ought to be developed. Ought to have developed. So by further quest to find out led me to pieces of information until information began to come together for me about what my life means on Earth. And it is after I had put it together for myself and still just working with it as a person. A sister that I discussed with at one time expressed the same desire that she needs to know why. And I said to her, I have found something about myself and I can share that with you. So we agreed that she brought some of our friends to my house, so I shared it with them. They felt it was quite impactful on them. Can we do this again in a wider audience? So as we are preparing to do that, COVID hit. And COVID, instead of being a disadvantage, became even an opportunity, a wider opportunity. So the first time we ran it, as I am trying to run it with you this morning, is during COVID. Because everybody was sat at home, we decided to, so we can't use that time to go out, then let's use it to be on Zoom. And we went through the full course. The first time I went through the whole set, 2020. And then from then, 2020, 2021, I did again, so, began several groups now, and up to 22 last year, and then where we are now. So we've run it through Zoom. Of course, when I did it with people in 2021, it was through Zoom. 2020 and 2021. Then 2021, I was in Nigeria, so we did it as a camp meeting, presidential camp meeting in Nigeria, which I think was quite effective, was very effective. And then, of course, coming to 2023, I'm running it currently with a group in Ivory Coast, mini camp meeting. So every weekend, the weekend, once a month, they gather together and in a group, and then I stay here through the weekend and we share together. So that's really the way Slick has developed over the few years that we have just started, and now I'm going to be sharing a bit of it with you today. The program we run, as you should see on the screen, I will be going through. First, I have already given you, I put that link on the WhatsApp, asking individuals to please go through that exercise on drifting. And of course, after that, there is a presentation on your potential and your philosophy, the video we'll watch. Then we will go have some break at about 10 o'clock. Come back and we will train another, we call your life as a project. Have another break for a few minutes and then take charge of your life before we conclude today. So hopefully that will take us to about 12, like I said. Now, I will quickly get into the first one. So first of all, let me find out from you, how has it, some of you have gone through can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Just a minute, please. What is it? Okay. I want to get your feedback, please. What did you, some of you that did the exercise, I sent you the workbook and I said you should complete it in preparation for this morning. Some of you did, a lot of other people didn't, but those of you that did it, please, can you share with me, what did you find in that exercise you did?
I did the exercise. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
It's Caroline speaking. I did the exercise, part of it.
Yeah.
And it was relating to a young man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was some confusion in my mind as to whether you were saying, does that relate to me or is it relating to the young man? And a lot of my answers were no, 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 no.
Okay.
I related it to myself.
Yeah.
The questions. And I only finished one section, but it made me think. It made me think the questions that was being asked. Right. So I thought it was quite easy. And I could see how the young man spiraled down into a world that was difficult for him and negative. So it was a good exercise, but I didn't complete all the other sections.
Right. Okay. Let's hear from other people that tried as well. Anybody else tried it?
Hey, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Michelle.
Hello, Michelle.
Yeah, I tried the exercise and I tried to relate it to my own life.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that just like the young man who at a point had a desire but didn't have any plan.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that that is part of me. I have so many things, desires, wishes, and I've even sort of, there are sometimes things that I write down are not things that I wish to achieve. I only write down, like, if I'm going to shop or something, I do my daily goals of what needs to be done in my career. However, I'm not able to write down what action I need to take to achieve the bigger goal that I always dream about.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I've realized, oh my God, I had this big plan, but I've only done little about it. Okay. And if I had put it down in writing and action plans, by now I could have achieved them. So I keep dreaming and I'm growing old and I'm not doing anything about it.
Yeah. Many of us are in that group.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to listen?
Yeah, I'll join with you. Or is it important?
Are you sharing, Jenny? We are listening.
Yeah, we are trying to share. That's like some sort of a feedback. Can you hear?
We have to share the phone because we're in one house and it's echoing.
Yeah, you need to be in separate rooms. Otherwise, you have to switch on one of it off.
Yeah, we'll turn one off.
Yeah, that's fine then. So, did you do the exercise? Want to share with us your experience in doing the exercise?
Yes, I did. I did do. No, oh, I did do the exercise.
Yeah. What's your experience?
Well, it made me reflect deeper than I've ever done before. Okay. Just going through the different scenarios and questions, and I think in a couple of them, a few of them I've answered yes. I think I don't remember exactly which ones, but there are a couple which have shown me that which have proved that I need help. I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah. Number of us will identify with that. Anybody else? Just one more person can share with us your experience.
Yeah, good morning, all.
Good morning.
Osita is my name. Yeah, I did the exercise and I realized that most of the times I write out my plans and what I want to achieve. But along the line, I get distracted by trying to sort issues around me and I forgot about it. And like one of the characters that was described, I will write, and at the end of the year, when he's cleaning up, he will discover what he has written. That's been my experience over the years. And at times, when you bring out those things you've written and they are unaccomplished, it has a way of making you discouraged and frustrated. And at times you even tend to abandon it.
Number of us will identify with that. I'll quickly share with you to get the.
Can I share?
Go on, please.
Okay, my name is Christine. I did the exercises, and a lot of my answers were no, but there were about 2 yeses, and one of them was on decision making. And I realized that a lot of times in my life, in the past, I have listened to other people and their opinions about what I should do, what I should not do. And I think that has a way of chipping on your self-identity, on my self-identity, and so I want to know how I can take charge of my life. Yes, thank you.
That's good. Yeah, like I said, all across the board, many of us we identify with one part of that character or the other. It's just to open up to us about, some of us are, like I told you, I got PhD, mechanical engineering. If they told you I was drifting, would you agree? You would say, no, he has a good job. I mean, he's a professional. He's well qualified. So this word drifting, can you tell me, please, what did you pick up? Those of you that tried to read, at least you read through those texts, what did you pick up drifting in life means? Drifting in life. What do you pick up? What do you pick up? What did you pick up it means?
Not having a plan.
Okay, that's a characteristic of it. Yeah, can I hear more, please?
Losing one's identity on account of other people's opinions.
Okay, yeah, that's another characteristic of it. Yeah.
Inaction.
Inaction, of course, makes you inert in life. That you would think is normal, because that's probably majority of people around you are also inert. Anyone else want to add? What do we mean by drifting? How do you know you are not drifting?
Not understanding who you are.
That's a characteristic of it. Are you trying to say something? I can't hear you. It appears you're saying something, but your voice is not coming through.
I think drifting in life basically means life just happening on a daily basis as it comes. So you are not proactive, you are reactive in most of the things that happen to you.
Yeah. I am sure all of us can identify with a drifting ship. A ship that is on the ocean drifting. Please, can you tell me what that means?
Just floating through life, not really,
Floating through life. Floating through life. It's not driven. There is no destination. There is no known destination. So you can just get into the yacht. Be there, the engine is switched off. So the wind blows and it follows the course of the wind because the engine is switched off. I want you to imagine how a human life will be when the engine is switched off. But that's one thing you're going to find out. So let's carry on now. Move on to the first thing I want to share with you. Drifting in life. But okay. I didn't know I was drifting. Welcome to this first part of the course. You can't see it now, so I need to put it where you can see it. And then I'm going to share with you my screen. That it's actually not properly done. Audio on? Nope. Share. Can you see my screen now?
Your screen is just dark.
Welcome to this first part of the course. Take charge of your life, your potential, your philosophy. And here you will discover that your potential is limitless. Just watch these two videos.
It's an overworked word, but there's no other way to describe Nick Vujicic. He really is inspiring. Nick was born without arms or legs. And when he tells the story of his birth, the shock, the confusion suffered by his parents, he'll have you in tears. Growing up wasn't all that much fun either. So how did this poor little Aussie kid do so well? Become school captain, go to uni, get a double degree, and set himself up in a really great job. That's the story we're about to tell. A message you'll never forget. Nick Vujicic was born with no legs and no arms.
I'm going out on a limb. What do you want?
But he's sure got plenty of guts.
This is scary right here, mate. This is where you gotta have guts. Or you're a bit crazy. 10. Nice, mate. Thank you very much. You're a generous judge.
This 25-year-old Australian is climbing over every obstacle life puts in front of him, and he's doing it with style.
You really can do anything, can't you?
There's no harm in believing so.
Everybody's going through something. You know, we're all going through something, just my pain is a bit more visible than yours or somebody else. When that clicked, it was like a light bulb when, you know, just flashed in my brain. I'm like, hey, now life I see as an opportunity. This circumstance, there's got to be something good.
No arms, no legs.
No worries, mate.
So do you see yourself as a disabled person?
I know I have no arms, no legs, but the definition of disability is something stopping you from being able to do something. In my life, there's hardly anything I've found that I can't do.
Even golf.
Even golf. There you go.
Nick is an inspiration, with a phenomenal passion for life that's intoxicating for everyone who meets him.
Nice. Give me 5, man. I feel like I'm enjoying life in my life more than the average person out there. That I'm achieving more things than the average 25-year-old. It's great. I'm fulfilling my dreams, man.
Those dreams brought Nick to America 18 months ago. In a short time, he's become a smash hit as a preacher and motivational speaker.
Welcome, Nick Vujicic.
The secret to his success here is his Aussie accent and the ability to laugh at his lot in life.
Yeah, when you see me from the outside of a vehicle, you have no idea that I have no limbs. And we're at the traffic lights and this car comes up next to us and this girl's looking at me. So I look at her, she looks at me and I'm like, cool, let's have some fun here. I grab the seatbelt in my mouth and I loosen it like this. And then in the car seat, I just did this. And she was like, it was awesome.
Humour underpins everything for you. Humour in your message.
It's good to laugh once in a while, mate. It's a good relief. It's really, I mean, to be able to laugh at life. That's what I've found that I can now accomplish. There were many times I couldn't do that.
Nick was born in Melbourne in 1982, the long-awaited first child of Boris and Dushka Vujicic. But despite his lack of limbs, Nick was a perfectly healthy baby, and with sheer will, he adapted to everyday life. It's that same perseverance and imagination that drives him today.
That foot of yours is amazing.
Isn't it? I mean, without it, I'm so thankful for this little thing. You know, one day I broke it.
Really?
I sprained it. I didn't break it, but I was playing soccer one day. I sprained my foot. I couldn't walk in it for 3 weeks. Talk about feeling disabled.
And I suppose having that foot also at least gives you something I take for granted, is a sense of touch and feel.
This is true. It's true. Because I think because I have less body surface, my skin is more sensitive than other people. You good?
Very good. Very impressive.
Look at that. That is perfect.
Well done.
That's all right, eh?
Yep. Be able to drive a Manly ferry soon.
It's something he's always craved. As a teenager, he was determined to do things his way to lighten the burden on his parents. These days, his life is so busy, he's had to employ a full-time carer to speed up the process.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Thank you very much.
But he doesn't need anyone to help him with his emails.
Do you pray for arms and legs?
Every now and then I do. I do pray for arms and legs. You know, I do have faith that God can, right now, in front of us, just, you know, come down with his light or whatever and bang, I have arms and legs. But the joy of having no limbs and being able to be used in such a unique way and powerful way for people, like, you can't give me any amount of money to even consider taking a magical pill to have arms and legs right now.
I'm here tonight to tell you this, that no matter who you are, no matter what you are going through, that God knows it, he's with you, and he's going to pull you through.
Nick's disability has become his drawcard. On the spiritual circuit, his ministry, Life Without Limbs, is now one of the biggest shows in town. So far, he's visited 14 countries and spoken to 2 million people.
6 years ago, you were speaking to 300 Year 10 students at a school in Brisbane.
That's right.
What's the biggest crowd you've spoken to today?
Now 110,000 people. Yeah, that was in India. It was incredible. Talk about nervous. My palms were sweaty. It was just...
Your palms were sweaty.
No, but it was amazing.
And how many people did you hug that night of the 110,000?
We did it because I know they would probably take me home and I couldn't say anything about it.
But you love hugging, don't you?
I love hugs, yeah.
You can't shake hands.
No, I think it's a waste of time. I love hugs. I mean, I think it's a great icebreaker as well, and it's my way of physically connecting with people. Can I give you a hug? Hugs first.
The day I joined Nick at a Los Angeles church, I witnessed the impact he has.
Love you.
What are the people in this very, very long queue wanting to tell you, and what are they saying?
Sometimes they actually open up and tell me the deepest of secrets of just they feel comfortable around me and to share just what their brokenness is in their life.
And what do the kids say to you?
Oh, they love the jokes. You know, they touch my little foot down here and we give high fives and give me some skin sort of thing, you know. But the kids, I love the humor and they just it's a wow thing as well. But I think a lot of teenagers are deeply touched. It matters how you're going to finish. Are you going to finish strong?
His appeal to teenagers caps a remarkable turnaround from his school years, a time where he was ridiculed and tormented and suicidal.
There was one day I remember when I was 6 years old. I had a very, very hard day at school. And I just, you know, hear their voices echoing in my mind, you know, at night. And I got up out of my bed, I looked in the mirror and said, okay, Nick, I'm talking to myself. I'm saying, Nick, what do you have that is good, that no one can change, that no one can argue with? And I just wanted something. Just give me something to hold on to. There's got to be something good about me. And I looked myself in my eyes and I said, hey, you got some good-looking eyes.
That you do.
Thank you.
So your eyes are your limbs in a way. When you look at evangelists, they talk like this, don't they? Do you use your eyes to talk?
That's what they say about the eyes. The eyes are the windows to your soul. And when they see love resound in your eyes and they see that there's something different about you, not just your smile, but there's this joy in your eyes, this sparkle, this passion for living. It's contagious. And all of a sudden, people are jealous of a man without arms and legs. And that spins me out.
Kids one day?
Absolutely. Yeah, medically, I can have kids. Well, I'm not going to be pregnant, but yeah. But, yeah, I see kids definitely in my life. Yeah, I can't wait to be a father.
What do you look forward to most if you can be a dad, when you become a dad?
We're going to be able to hug and play, you know, but I think it's just going to be a crazy day, me walking my daughter down the aisle. Yeah, that's going to be so precious.
Come on. Come on.
When he was born, it was considered a disaster. Shock for the doctors, confusion and grief for his parents. But what Nick Vujicic has achieved so far in his life is truly inspirational. His story touched me, and he hopes to tell it to many, many more.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to reach the world. I really do. As many as possible. And I'll do this till the day I die, mate. I know it.
Really?
Yep. Yes.
You want to speak to millions and millions and millions?
Yes.
Well, I love how you dream big.
Why not, mate?
Hello, good morning.
That's the message. The man without arms and legs is dreaming big. Why can't we? Why can't we all?
Hello?
Nick Vujicic was born 36 years ago with no arms, no legs, but a great sense of humour. When you go swimming, you call yourself
Bob, because I just Bob.
and I say no arms, no legs.
No worries.
Mate.
Mate.
Yep.
It's all good.
You're a charismatic fella.
Do you see my arms flying everywhere when I talk?
Humour underpins everything, though, doesn't it? It really does.
It does.
Nick had once feared a lonely, tormented life. But this remarkable man of faith has worked hard to create his own miracle.
Oh, you got me.
He's now a married man and a father.
Good boy. I love you.
Nick lives in a beautiful house near Malibu, California.
Hey, Nick.
With his wife, Kanae, and their 4 children.
Wonderful to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you, mate. The house looks terrific. You look terrific.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Today, Nick is the father of 2 boys and identical twin girls.
Come in, Peter.
Thank you, Nick.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
So, Peter, this is everyone. Dayan Kyoshi, come say hi to Peter. Come, give him a high five. Give him a hug.
How are you?
My name is Kyoshi, and his name is Dan, right there.
You are beautiful. Kanae, beautiful.
Hi. How are you?
So good to see you.
So good to see you again.
You look stunning, and all these beautiful children. Who are these little ones?
So this is Olivia.
Hello,
and
Olivia.
that's Ellie, and they're identical twins.
And you
Right.
both look exactly
Like
your dada. My goodness me.
Nick and Kanae married in 2012 and wasted little time in creating their dream of a family. Nick had to throw himself headfirst into the smallest of daily obstacles most of us take for granted.
Hey, Kiyoshi. Let's go.
What he can do with his body is truly remarkable.
Yay! Let's give me a high five.
Whether it's swimming, kicking a soccer ball,
Good.
or sending a text message, Nick just gets on with it. But it's when he was a 17-year-old at high school that a cleaner told him something that would one day transform his life.
This all began with, like, the school cleaner saying, I think you can talk to people, right?
Yeah, that's right. It started with the janitor saying, you're going to be a speaker, and I said, no, I'm not, you're crazy.
Welcome, Nick Vujicic.
The number of people listening to Nick started with a group of 6, and then grew to hundreds, to thousands, and then to hundreds of thousands.
Right now, if you know you need to make your life right with God, stand and come on down the front.
From presidents to prisoners, Nick has spoken to them all. He's both an evangelical pastor and a motivational speaker.
It's been now 70 countries. I've been to China, for instance, up to 37 times.
Biggest audience?
800,000 people, face to face.
Today, Nick has returned to his hometown, Brisbane.
Good to see you.
And he's talking to teenage school kids about something extremely personal to him: school bullying.
Almost welcome at State Icon offer. Let's give it up for him.
Hello, Brisbane State. Hi, how are you? Good, good, good. So what is it? What are we looking for in life? For me, I wanted arms and legs, and I thought, man, if I just had arms and legs, then everything's gonna be okay.
This packed auditorium at Brisbane State High School is transfixed on Nick and his message.
Do you know that when I started my speaking career, I actually called 52 schools in southeast Queensland and said, hi, my name is Nick Vujicic and I'm a speaker. Can I come and speak at your school? And guess what they said? No, thank you. They hung up the phone. You see my foot? When you go through your ups and downs, you got to take one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time.
Do you reckon you're brave, Nick?
I'd have to say I've got a good level of courage, but for me, courage is when you've overcome your fear, but that doesn't mean you're not afraid.
I reckon you're very brave.
Thanks, Peter.
I reckon everyone would think you're very brave. You expose yourself in such a raw way, and that takes guts and courage. And I'm sure Kanye would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Very brave.
Absolutely.
We're going to the beach.
When it all comes down to it, Nick Vujicic has simply led his life by example. For this man and his remarkable wife, a handicap is only as big as you make it. Now, with the backing of a loving family, Nick has taken himself to the edge and not only survived, but prospered.
Give me a kiss. Thank you.
Nick, over 10 years ago, we sat on the beach and I asked you what your dreams were, and you said to fall in love and to have a family. Did you picture it like this?
Well, I did fall in love, and we are in love, and this is the most incredible life that we could ever. Well, it's even beyond our dreams.
How about you? Kane, did you believe that this would come back and visit you like this?
No way. This is beyond anything I could have ever imagined, but like Nick said, what a beautiful surprise, and I feel like I'm living the dream that I couldn't even dream.
What a life. I'll come back for their weddings.
The purpose of this video has been to remove the myth around what causes human greatness. Just to cancel out certain things we have believed and trusted and put our attention to as the reason or the foundation for human greatness. That's one thing that this video is going to straighten out in your thinking. At least one thing you can tell from Nick's life is it's not having human body complete. It's not having arms or having legs. And you can add to that It's not having a house or having a car. It's not having a mother or a father. It's not having friends. It's not having money. It's not having anything. The human greatness does not come from having anything. It just comes from your unlimited potential to create. Developing that is what we're going to be talking about.
Hi friends, my name is Girish Gogia. Exactly 14 years back, in the year 1999, me and a couple of friends, we had been to Goa, and we were really having a great time. I was diving from a cliff into the ocean. Very unfortunately, in spite of diving thousands of times earlier than that, I miscalculated the depth of water at that particular time. The water there was very shallow, and my head went and hit the seabed. My neck was instantly broken, and I was instantly paralyzed. I could not understand that why are none of my limbs functioning all of a sudden. I simply could not swim back to the shore. Approximately 25-30 minutes later, I found myself on the seashore. And friends, that's where started my second life. I was immediately rushed to the nearby hospital in Goa. They finally declared that I was 90% paralyzed, and there was no hope, as there's no cure for a cervical spinal cord injury related paralysis anywhere around the world. I had accepted the reality. I had promised myself that come what may, the show has to go on. One has to be relentless, absolutely intentional. One has to be driven, and one has to be absolutely unstoppable. And I decided that I'm going to get back to my interior designing career once again. In this condition, I remember I used to visit my projects very frequently, and I managed to complete 15 massive projects in 11 years post-paralysis. In the last 3 years, I finally decided to become a motivational, inspirational speaker, meeting millions of people and sharing my real-life experiences, making people happy and smile in spite of all kinds of adversities and trying times that they may be going through in life.
Okay. What's your uptake in those two videos? What did you pick from those two videos? Can I get some feedback? What did you pick from those two videos, please?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I picked a number of things. Yeah. First of all, you are the only one that can stop yourself. Like everything we do in life, you have to really be the one to initiate it. Nobody else will do it for you. And I also picked that you can always find happiness and excitement within you. It doesn't have to come from anybody. You have to be the one to give it out, and then you get it back. I picked that from Nick. It's so exciting.
Yeah, thank you very much. Anybody else?
Good morning.
Good morning, Richard.
So the most striking thing I picked from the two videos is seeing opportunity in every challenge.
Yeah.
That's the most striking thing I picked. Being able to see opportunity in every challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else pick something else there?
In the face of challenges, you can still achieve your goals. And with the two illustrations we saw, they weren't going to let their shortcomings and disability hold them back for who they are as individuals.
Yep. I think we can see in that video a clear case of what you would call disadvantage. At least everybody else sees it as a huge disadvantage. And if you were to think of what could be possible, you would say nothing. I mean, how can somebody without arms and legs be running companies? So how can somebody who is paralyzed from neck downwards be accomplishing interior design projects? 11 of them, he said, after being paralyzed, they can't make use of anything. They can't even feed himself. People had to feed him. And after that, he does 11 interior design projects, huge ones, because that's his profession. So I think we are trying to begin to open our minds to that thing we said at the beginning. When the engine is switched off, any idea what has happened to the human person when the engine is switched off? Please, can you tell me? No, we talked about drifting earlier. And I said I had a PhD and I didn't know I was drifting. And I had a good job. And I'm married and I have children. But I could have a house or houses or lands, and I was drifting. In life. And now what I was asking you, what do you think was the engine? Let's talk about that. What is the engine of human life? What is responsible for human progress? I am not sharing my screen yet, so I can do that.
I think is the mind. And yeah, the mind is a very powerful aspect of our human body. And so what we focus on determines how we progress in life. And also not being able to explore, to find out what else can I do with my life, or what can I do with my life, brings us a lot of limitations. And I think we just satisfy with the environment or things around us. And just as you're saying that even as a mechanical engineer with PhD in it, you have identified that you are drifting. I think it's same with me. I'm a lawyer, but I can just tell that this is not all. There's a lot, but I haven't gotten around how to do it. So those people have sort of inspired me. I've heard and watched that video before. If they, even with their limitation, can do it, means there's just a lot more in us, and it's all that determination.
Yeah. That's right.
Thank you.
A lot more. I feel exactly the same way. A lot more. So let's talk about it. There's a lot more I can do. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Your potential and your philosophy, these two subjects, we want to talk about these two phrases: your potential, your philosophy. And the idea here is just to give you an opportunity to understand that your potential is limitless. And that what personal philosophy means in life and how it impacts life experience. We also want to think about the origin of our values, how our values are formed, and how personal philosophies govern decisions and life outcomes, how to reform our own personal philosophies for better outcomes, and how to choose between failure and success. So, like you saw in that video, say that you will discover here that your potential is limitless. Probably have had it before, but let's see. But there's a book that Brian Tracy wrote called Goals. And in that book, he brought out the fact that the complexity of human brain, our brains, is beyond belief or imagination. There are some data that he mentioned there, that there are 100 billion cells or neurons in the human brain. 20,000 ganglia of fibers in the human brain. And then he says that the average person functions with about 1% to 2% of their brain capacity all through their entire life. In life, now, first of all, I don't know whether that makes sense to you, the capacity of what you're carrying. But there's a lot more that you need to hear, because some of us may not even have the idea or perception that life is lived with the brain. Depending on the background that raised us and different experiences that we have had, our minds can be formed differently. And when we start talking about brain, to some people, it might actually look as if we are talking about carnality, being carnal. Now, that's not how life is. Not from your brain. Don't live from your brain. I'm sure you had that preached. In life, there is a scripture that is in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7, that says this: each person is given something to do that shows who God is. Now, think about that. Each person means you or me, given something to do that reveals omnipotence. God shows who God is. I said that establishes your potential, the capacity, what you can do. And in fact, it actually establishes your destination. If you are given something to do that reveals God, who God is, then that shows how your life is designed to play out on earth, doesn't it? So I said it actually shows that you are here to reveal God. We're talking more about your potentials. That's another way of saying that your potential, the human potential, is limitless. Because if it is revealing God and God is unlimited, then it must be what your life is. Question may be then, with so much potential, what's holding many people back? Any ideas, please? What do you think? If each human is here, wired up to reveal omnipotence, what is holding many people back from showing up on it? Please, can I get some feedback?
I think it's lack of knowledge and lack of motivation.
Okay, lack of knowledge, lack of motivation, yeah. If you can just...
Well, exactly. I think it's the same line. I think number one is ignorance. Like, you know, the Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Ignorance is number one. And of course, the second one is fear of the unknown.
Okay, yeah.
Man has this terrible attitude. What he doesn't know, he is afraid of it until he takes steps to conquer it.
Yeah. So that tells you that we have miles to go. Because if the capacity and the destination of my life is to reveal the omnipotence of God, that tells you, like I said, how far our life is from what we actually are. What is personal philosophy? Why is this happening in human lives? An example I like using to answer that question is the experience of David and Goliath. Majority of us here, we know that story. You remember the story where David encountered Goliath on his advent going to take some provisions for his brothers. And you know what happened in that story. So I am going to ask you, go ahead and ask you the question then. Where did David say his victory come from?
From God.
From God, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was victory said to come from the same source for Saul?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. So Saul was also.
I think otherwise, because Saul was saying he was relying on his military, his strength as a fighter.
No, I'm not asking you what he did. I'm asking what is available to him. Because David was saying,
yes, I think the same thing that was available to David was available to Saul.
Exactly.
But I think it depends on the understanding.
Right, that's it. That's the understanding of
the understanding. It depends on the understanding.
Okay. Understanding, that's a phrase. That's a phrase. We use the word knowledge previously. So victory was set. God was there available to David and to Saul. You know, my mind keep going back to Nigeria. Most of us here come from Nigeria. Now, come from other countries as well. Uganda is here, some people Botswana, many other countries are here. But I'm mentioning Cameroon is also here. There are many other countries, Ghana, we have so many countries represented here. So, but because I grew up in Nigeria and because I've been following up what's happening in the nation, and many of us here too are familiar with what's going on in Nigeria. The terrible situation in various African countries, is that not the reason why our lives are in a poor condition, isn't it?
That's correct.
Correct? So it's our government situations and all the environmental circumstances, they are the things keeping our lives down. Correct? Okay, at least that's what majority of our minds are carrying, because we are experiencing them. Right here, we have a giant that is posing a menace to the country, Goliath. A small boy, now Saul was the king, and he comes together with the rest of the soldiers that are well trained, having the best equipment to fight the giant. None of them could do it. Now, who was oppressing, who was bringing about, what was bringing about this oppression in the country? Goliath? Answer me, please. What each one of them is so fearful, they are hiding in caves. Who or what is making them hide in caves? Goliath.
Goliath. No, it was not really Goliath. It was the fear that there is a terror before them. Well, it may not be by Goliath per se, but by the army of the Philistines. So that fear was what drove them into the cave. I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I think, hello, I think, going back to the study of the Israelites, they always had an issue with the Philistines. Now, this is now a new phenomenon happening to them. Not only that they are being terrorized by the Philistines, they now have a champion that is going against them verbally, putting in them a lot of fear by the things that he speaks to them. It came talking against their God, the God that they revered, and This is who we see that is our strength. And he's trying to bring the strength down. Now, it took a man that saw beyond what they were seeing. It took a man that identified who was behind creation, who created that giant in the first place, that is able to bring them down. Now, history, circumstances around us can bring us down. But what is the thing that we have in us? I think that is a scenario. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's definitely on the line. You're on the line of my thoughts. Because if Goliath was the one, who is the problem? Why is it not a problem of David? That's the question. I said, if we picked up there, why David was able to take advantage of a provision, why wasn't Saul or the other soldiers able to take the same advantage? If the problem was the Goliath, David's hand is raised.
David had a one-on-one personal relationship with his creator, his will.
Okay.
Will.
Yeah.
That is the strength of his will, his creator. I think that is it.
Okay. David Obo, please, you can talk.
Everybody. Actually, for me, I can say is the mentality. What you have at the back of your mind or in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
These people are looking at Goliath physically. I feel David was looking to the north with his eyes. And judging from the how God has fought for him. He looks as this giant as not even struck. So he gave it, which other people know what he was seeing with his physical eye to the greater him, and that is even available to work with.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think we got the gist of what a brother was saying. The mentality. Saul couldn't take advantage of the same provision that's available to everybody. Every soldier had that provision available. David had it, Saul had it, everyone had it. The menace was there. And any one of them could have taken advantage of the provision, and the menace will no longer be a menace. But the rest didn't. David did, and the only difference between them is what was going on up here. We can say so much on this, and I can stay here for the rest of the time, but I must move ahead. The way your mind works is called your personal philosophy. So let's get it clear now. The issue that is oppressing my life in any nation I am is not the government of the land. It's not their terrible operation. It's not the Goliath that is facing me. That's not the problem of my life, particularly when you are in the likeness of God. When you are wired to reveal omnipotence. The problem is not the challenge in front of you. It's what's going on here. The way your mind works is called your personal philosophy. And who was to blame for Saul's loss of his kingdom heritage? Put yourself in that environment when that incident happened. Is it David that caused Saul to lose his heritage? So remember that the story we read in the Bible is that God said your kingdom was supposed to be will be forever. That's what Samuel told him. The design was for Saul to remain king and pass it on to Jonathan, pass it on to, and the dynasty would be forever. That was the plan. Why did Saul lose it? Is it David? Is it Goliath? Or is it the women that we are singing the song? Saul has killed 1,000 and David 10,000. What made Saul lose his heritage? Divine utterance made over his life that he couldn't walk. Please tell me, what made him lose his heritage? Tony, your hand is raised up. You want to talk?
Yes, please.
Go on.
You know, I want to approach it from two angles. What I call the theological and, of course, the logical. You know, I'm sure you have heard this saying many times. People say that whatever God says will happen.
Mm-hmm.
It is not exactly the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly the truth. And this story profoundly expresses that truth. God can have a plan for something. We have many instances in the Bible about that. The case of Judas is another example. God may have a plan, but we can thwart that plan.
Mm-hmm.
We can thwart it. So from the logical point of view, we see that Saul was a very careless person. He was careless. He didn't take, instructions lightly. He didn't take them seriously. But from the point of view of the theological, it goes back to what our sister said before. Until you have a personal revelation, which you have defined here as a personal philosophy, until you have a personal revelation, or especially as we as New Testament believers, until you have a personal revelation of what, of your place in God. In fact, a good scripture there is Romans chapter 4, verse 17 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible gave us, if you go to that portion on verse 17, the Bible starts with a quotation, as it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations. That is God's express will for Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read through verses 18, 19, Abraham took personal responsibility to actualize that promise. The Bible says, I think it's in verse 19, it says, against all hope, quoting from the King James, it says, against all hope, Abraham believed in hope that he may become. Abraham, against every obstacle of hope, Abraham believed so that he can actualize that thing that was said about him.
Yeah.
So that is until you get a personal revelation of your place in God, and just like you correctly define the personal philosophy, we see this happen even in ordinary life when people don't even know God. I have read thousands and thousands of people's biographies. It's my favorite thing. You see that people get a glimpse of their future, their vision of life, without even bedrocking it, without even bedrocking it on God. Yeah. These are people who don't even know God, but they get this vision of where they believe they ought to be, and they latch on it and begin to work on it, and the thing actualizes. So it comes down to the scripture again that God is not a respecter of persons.
Mm-hmm.
You can become whatever you become because God is a father of everybody, whether you know him or you don't know him.
Yep.
He respects principles. He put these principles in place, and if you either accidentally or intentionally key into these principles, they work for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. I think they just summarized what actually I wanted to bring out. So that's good. Thank you very much for helping us bring that out. That's exactly what I wanted to bring out. The responsibility that David took personally is what made what is available to everybody work for him. And the irresponsibility, as we can call it, the opposite of what David did, that everybody else exhibited, made what is available not work for them. It wasn't God making decision who will enjoy his power and who will not enjoy his power. It wasn't God making that decision. We're going to see more of it as we move ahead. My screen. Can you still see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
No. It's dark.
No.
Blank.
Are you sharing the screen?
That's why I'm asking you. I can't see it myself. Okay. Let me see what happened. I'll stop it. I'll start again. Right. I think Zoom had done something, so I can't see. I'm seeing only black. Okay, let me start from the PowerPoint then. Because I think something is not quite right.
I can see you.
You can see it?
Yes, I can see you.
It's talking about the screen.
Okay, now I have to restart the sharing because I think something went wrong with the PowerPoint.
Technical glitches.
Yeah. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Go there again.
Yes.
You can see it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's saying, I asked the question, why did Saul lose his heritage? Of course, we've answered that question. It's because of the way his mind was working. It wasn't because of Goliath, it wasn't David, it wasn't the, but you know, that's what he would blame. He blamed the women. That the women singing were his trouble. And of course, you know the rest of the story, that he kept pursuing David to kill him because David was his trouble. That's what he thought, that David was his trouble. Jim Rohn made this statement: your personal philosophy is the greatest determining factor in how your life works out. Your personal philosophy. Your personal philosophy makes the difference between being a bombing life. Oh, I'll move on there. A lot of things come to my head. So, and then being a CEO in life. It's not necessarily, of course, your academic qualifications, which I believe by now you know. I hope you do. Your personal philosophy, the way your mind works, is what made the difference between ending up a bomb in life or a CEO in life. Whether you are educated or non-educated. Elliot, you were saying something?
No, I wasn't saying anything, sorry.
Okay.
We're just moving from mobile to laptop. It's going to, because we were trying to comment earlier on and we just couldn't.
Ah, right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now, question for all of us. Why are Africans fleeing Africa while the Chinese are trooping into Africa? Please answer me.
And Indians too.
And Indians. Why are Africans fleeing Africa while all these other are trooping into Africa? Please answer me.
Okay, go.
Am I getting any answer from anybody? At least what you think. Particularly those that have not said anything. Can I hear from you, please?
Because of economic hardship.
Is it economic hardship? Why is economic hardship selecting Africans and then doesn't attack the Chinese when they arrive?
Because of our mindset.
Mindset. So it's our mind then.
Yeah.
It's our mind.
And I think we don't believe in ourselves. There are so many things we believe on, we Africans. We think everything will be answered by prayer without working. So they think Western world is where you go out and you pick money. So they don't want to work for them to get what they want. So they believe that mindset is a thing of what is disturbing Africans.
It is indeed. Our mindset. That's what our mindset is what formed what they believe. It's a belief system we inherited and we're practicing because that's where our mind is at.
I think also, like, as Africans, we are more of consumers.
Mindset.
Our education system has not. We don't invest in technical skills and meaningful science that can generate. So we end up.
Yeah. Our mindset, the way our mind is formed, right? Yeah. Educational system. Of course, the mind came from somewhere. It was formed.
Opportunities that we see, we feel there are more opportunities outside Africa.
That's where our mind is working.
If we go back to the times of the fathers, Abraham, he went out of his father's house in search of greener pastures. A lot of people before our time have always gone out of the comfort zone to seek for greener pastures. Even the people that rear heads, cows, go out of their territory in search of greener pastures. That is one. Yes, we are more of consumers, but have we forgotten that even the Europeans, the Indians, the Palestinians, and they have gone out of their own comfort zone in search of greener pastures, in search of commerce and economy outside their land. So what we are doing is actually engaging in commerce and economy in search of what to better ourselves. Most of the Africans that go abroad, they come back home to invest in the land. It's just that the economic is so harsh right now, and people don't want to come back home. That is my view. As an African, I believe in Africans and in our sense of searching for greener pastures to make our children ourselves comfortable and coming back home sometime. Or if it's permitted, we stay where we have gone to. I mean, Abraham went to Canaan, bought the land Canaan, went around, and then generations later, they came back to the land that Abraham purchased and settled there.
Yeah, good. Okay. I want to move ahead now because otherwise I'm not going to be able to show you the rest of the things today. So I just want to get a track, a trend of thought.
My hand is up.
Okay,
my hand is up.
Go on, I'll get you.
Yes, thank you so much. I think that part of the problem is that we don't recognize that there is anything good in Africa.
Yeah,
that is our mindset. We don't see the good things in Africa. And so for our mind, except we move out, we will not make it. We don't even see that we are capable of making the best out of the little that we have. And then these Chinese are trooping to Africa because with their own length, they have seen good things in Africa they can harness and use and make the best out of it. And we that are here are not seeing those things they are seeing. So our minds are myopic. And so we are seeing the good things outside more than what we have inside here.
Okay, we all agreed on that now, that our mind is the problem.
Yeah.
Just what we want to establish, that the issue, our mind is the problem. And I give an example of the way the mind works, and it's not only Africans, this is a general human setting that we're talking about here. the same beliefs, the same belief mindset that form our personal philosophy. That same mindset determines what we count as important and what we count as not too important, our value systems. And I said, take an example of someone who decides to start his day at 5 a.m. in order to take advantage of opportunities, doing what his philosophy has taught him is valuable. He wakes up 5 a.m. That's his regular pattern, the way he lives. Or another person decides that he will start his day at 12 noon, doing what his philosophy has taught him is valuable. Rest. Just have a good rest, particularly early morning rest. That is very, very important. He can come up with all kinds of reasons why he thinks that should be maximized. So waking up 12 noon is his way of living. Of course, you know, take these two people to continue on this line of activity. It doesn't matter what government is in power. It does not matter how much inflation is operating in the country. This has nothing to do with anybody else, just them two operating this way. From the judgments that people make about what is valuable and what is not valuable, drastically different results happen. Therefore, you need to examine your value systems. The things that you are counting as important, is it really helping you or hindering you? Another part of the things this course will open your mind to see. Your personal philosophy, the way your mind is set, the things you count as important or things you count as not, listen, they set the sail of your life and the direction your life is going and where it will end up. Each one of us make decisions based on what we think is valuable, like those two examples I just showed you. And the decisions accumulated over time take us to different destinations. Destination of inevitable success or unavoidable failure, regardless of what government is in power. And it doesn't matter whether you are in Nigeria or in the United Kingdom or United States or Canada, anywhere. It doesn't matter whether you are in Kenya, and it doesn't matter where you are. The outcome will take two different trajectories and probably will not end up where you were loved it to. What guides us to different destinations in life is the way we have chosen to set our sail. Oh, I just pray the Holy Spirit communicate each of these phrases to you. The way we have chosen is our choice to set our sail. The way we have chosen to form the mentality, the engine of our lives, our mentality. The choice we have made. The way each of us thinks makes the major difference in where each of our lives arrives. The major difference is not the circumstance, the wind. It's not the government, as corrupt as they may be. It's not the government that makes the major difference. The major difference is in the decisions we make in the circumstance. The decisions we make when the government, corrupt government, is operating. The major difference is in the decisions we make, not the outside operation of the government. How we think and how we respond has a far greater capacity to destroy our lives than any challenges we face themselves. For example, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's a good philosophy, regardless of what government is in power, regardless of the market forces. An apple a day is a very good philosophy. And a Snicker bar a day makes a happy living. It's a poor philosophy. Please, can somebody tell me why? I said that's a poor philosophy. Quickly, please, just one person, give me feedback. An apple a day, that's a good philosophy. A Snicker bar make a happy a day. Makes a happy living.
I think From health perspective,
yeah,
an apple a day is a good philosophy, whereas the other one is not. From health perspective.
From health perspective, it is true. Just that. But you know, each of these philosophies maintained over 5 years. The results will show, regardless of whether the hospitals are working or not working. Huh? The result will show in the health of these two individuals that made these two different philosophies, regardless of number of doctors present or absent in the country. Just a few errors in judgment repeated every day leads to accumulated disaster. And that is how we come about what we call formula for failure. So formula for failure is what? It's on the screen. Can somebody read that, please? Just want to read it.
A few errors in judgment repeated every day. Yeah. Calculate the cumulative effect of these few errors repeated every day for 5 years.
Then you have and it doesn't matter what government is in power. Does not matter how much the cost of bread now is. It doesn't matter. This outside forces has no bearing on it at all. A few errors in judgment repeated every day is what determines the outcome of the individual life, not the government, not the poor circumstances of the environment. If therefore, formula for success is what? Somebody else read that, please.
Formula for success, a few simple disciplines practice every day. This starts a whole new life.
That's it. A few simple disciplines repeated every day. And there's so much more that we talked about in this. If you decide today to go for the apple instead of the Snicker bar, you immediately begin the process of turning your life around. Has nothing to do with the government. Has nothing to do with the corrupt politicians. The origin of our values. How do we form what is now pushing and guiding and propelling our lives that we call our values? You know where we got many of them. We formed a lot of them from our school friends and influences of our school friends. Some of them we got from the streets. What's happening in our neighborhood, what we see on TV. We read books. We got some of them from our home, the way things are practiced at home. If you grew up in a home where parents had no budget, they don't even mention budget in anything, financial budget. It's not likely that when you become an adult, you'll be thinking about budget. And that will have an impact in your finances, regardless of what government is in power. We pick them up from listening and what they are seeing on TV. And so many other places that we pick up information that is shaping the mindset that is now running our lives, the direction that our lives is going. Developing a powerful philosophy for better life outcomes. So become aware today, become aware that when you are cultivating your mind, you are cultivating your rule, your reign, and your dominion in life. Please talk to me about that statement. One or two people talk to me about that statement. When you are developing your mind, you are cultivating your rule, your reign, and your dominion in life. Any volunteers?
I think, from my understanding, when you begin to, when you are cultivating your mind, like everything we do comes from our mindset, like the analysis you just made concerning the situation in Africa and what the government is doing, a lot of so much encouragement, but because we have a mind of our own, because we are made in the image of God, I can say personally, from my understanding, that if you begin to use that mindset, which God wants to do, direct your mindset to positive things, begin to take charge of yourself, because we are what we think. I believe that so much. You will discover that you begin to take charge of your environment. That environment that a lot of people may think it doesn't work. You will still prosper in it because of the way you see things around it. After all, Isaac was in a land that was arid at some point, and he prospered because he listened to God. So if you take charge, you will begin to reign there because you are in charge. The things that are happening around will not affect you anymore because you already have made this resolution within yourself that I am going to succeed. I am going to achieve this. And the things around you will not influence you anymore. And then when you start reigning, you will dominate. You will discover that you begin to attract people, you begin to attract other positive things, you begin to attract wealth, you begin to attract joy and happiness, and you will discover that you have no limitations no more because you have separated yourself from that ugly situation. A typical example is probably in a family where people are raised together, having this kind of mindset that we are raised with in Africa, telling you cannot succeed in this, you cannot do that. A lot of people have been told that they can't do this, they can't do that. Yet, because of the mindset they have, that they can do it, they still went out of their ways to do it. Like some of us that paid our school fees in the universities. Some people were sitting down there waiting for somebody to pay for them. But you saw that if I keep sitting down here, I will not be able to get to where I want to go to. That's the mind. You took over, you became in charge, and you took over that situation, and you decided to do something about it. So I think that is just a bit of it. It might be all encompassing, though.
Sure. Thanks for that. That's really what I want to bring out, and I think that's sufficient for us to get from that. And I can move on now. So life is not about what will you get or acquire in life. Now, our sister has talked about the mentality. It's a mentality. The mentality is what governs your actions. The mentality. You will all believe, you will all know and agree with me that mentality is what governed Nelson Mandela's action in South Africa. When everything was opposite, everything was against him, his life, even his mentality. It wasn't the amount of money he has, the amount of support he had. It wasn't how the government was on his side. It had nothing to do with it. It was just his mentality. That he reigned and dominated and dominated apartheid was his mentality that governed and led to that outcome. Our lives are designed that way. So life is not about what he acquired. It's not about what he acquired. I mentioned Nelson Mandela. It's not about what he acquired in South Africa. It's not what he got. It's what he became. Life is about who and what will you become? How will your mind be shaped? It's about what capacities will you develop within you. It's about what company will you keep that is forming your mentality. It's about the books you read that will be reshaping the way you think. Life is about what skills get cultivated in you. Life is about how will you be shaped within the next time period. If we're talking about next 12 months, how will you be next 12 months? Not what will you get. How will you be next 12 months? And what will all these turn you into? What will you become? who and what will you become next? Take an example of this guy. His current employer is not paying him enough. So his value system says to him, that's not fair. My employer is not paying me. Therefore, he decides I'm going to retaliate. And his retaliation is he will do things that his current paycheck justifies. He believes he's not being paid enough. So he's going to reduce his activities and only do the minimum he thinks matches what he's being paid. Mentality, a mentality. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. That's fair enough. But provided his goal is to remain where he is, doing what he's currently doing, and getting paid what he is currently getting paid for the rest of his life. If that is goal, then that action is correct. He has reached it. But of course, it is the years of accumulated misinformation that we have in our head. The accumulated information for wrong data sources, all of them give us a mentality that is counterproductive to what we want in life. An example again is this guy. I imagine he wants to be a manager. He wants to become higher up in life, attain the height of his career. But look, the mentality he's having is, I am not being paid enough, so I'll reduce my input to match what I'm being paid. Please answer me. How is his skill going to develop and become more by reducing his activities? How is it going to happen? I'm asking you, how will he become by reducing his input, his efforts? Because he's not being paid enough. Anybody wants to volunteer?
He will not, his skills will not grow. In fact, they will diminish.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, the skills will not sharpen. Because I imagine they may even give him something that is beyond his paycheck, but he wouldn't do it. And because he didn't try to do it, he will not gain skills in that area. His skill will remain where it is now or go down. But he wants to go up. But his mentality is making him function in the way they're putting him down, but he wants to go up. And it happens with many of us in different dimensions of life. There are so many sources of getting information to reprogram our mind, and these are just quick look at them. Personal experiences, good experiences, bad experiences, they can help you reshape your mind. Outside voice, book, other people's failures, other people's successes, positive role models. Be a good observer of the environment. All these are information that are coming and hitting your mind. Be a good listener. Read every book you can read. Keep a journal. Only through careful mental preparation can we consistently make wise choices. And if we are not happy with where our past decisions have led us, then the place to start is with our current thinking process. This video gives you another example of what a thinking process may do, but you may not be aware that's what is happening to you. I hope it plays. I believe it does. Okay, you can see it?
Yes.
Watch that dog. He loses one and she comes back. Watch her. And she goes through the manhole. What happens? And she loses everything. Now she wanted to recover and keep all of her chicks. But the way she is thinking makes her take action that makes her lose everything. And you know, if it's a human being, if we take that analogy to a human being, human life, you know who she will blame? Who do you think she would blame for losing her chicks?
God.
God. Maybe it was
Yes.
God. Yeah, sure. It's God's will. It's God's will. I think she might blame the government for putting the manhole there.
blame her village.
Blame her village people. Or maybe something, a remote control from her mother-in-law.
Yeah, witches and wizards.
Witches and wizards.
She'll blame for fighting against.
Everything she can blame except herself, the way her mind is working. So by now, I believe that you have understood that your potential is limitless. There's nothing you cannot do. I've also understood that your personal philosophy and what it is and where it comes from, what is governing your life, the origin of your values, and how your personal philosophies govern the decisions you make every day, and therefore it's taking you towards a certain destination in life, and also giving you some information on how to reform your personal philosophies, how to choose failure or success in life. They are choices. Do you believe that? Failure or success in life, they are not locks, they are choices.
Give me excuses.
Okay. Any questions about this, please? Any question?
It's just more of question. So the last video that the duck who was concerned with the chick that they had lost, and then they ended up losing all the others.
Yeah.
You know, it is. I'm a Christian, so I think of the story of the sheep that was lost. Mm-hmm. And there was a parable where Jesus was talking about the sheep that was lost. So if there are 100 and one is lost, so the shepherd goes to look for the one, and they celebrate because of that one which was found. So this is a contrast. I don't know what you have to say.
Okay. Well, I don't. There's so much we don't know about that story Jesus told. So I probably wouldn't be analyzing it, because what we are trying to bring out here is a mentality. That's what that's what we want to bring out here. It's not about the getting a lost sheep or a lost sheep. It was good. Okay, but if I would just answer your question, yes, to have a thought for the lost sheep is very important, very good. But to not know that she is big enough to walk through a manhole, but her cheeks are not big enough, is a poor mindset. Mm-hmm. And that's what made her lose the rest of the cheeks. She's big enough. She was big enough to walk on top of the manhole and not be harmed, but her cheeks were not big enough, and she didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about mindset. The ignorance. My ignorance could be costing me a lot, and I'll be blaming the government. My ignorance could be costing me a lot, and I'll be blaming my mother-in-law. Blaming an outside force.
Okay.
I think I want to say something.
Go on. Mm-hmm.
From the story of the dog.
Yeah.
From life experience, maybe we might have noticed it that when you are in such situation, you are bound to take decisions that you will regret if you ponder on it later.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like the person that talks says she's a Christian, which all of us probably are. Mm-hmm. If you also look at what happened at the Red Sea, when Moses was calling God, he told him first of all to be still. And when he was still, he showed him that what he's looking for is right with him. Mm-hmm. That is something he has used over the years, but he don't know the potential in it. He told him use it on the Red Sea and it will part. Yeah. I think the big lesson there is our ability to be courageous in the face of challenges and know what God would have us do in it also, and take the right decision.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to ask you now to get into the WhatsApp. I've just posted to you a workbook. Can you please open it and answer the question? They will be quick. Just you.
I wanted to ask questions.
Go on.
Okay, I've been going, this has been going through my mind for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'm directing these questions to you. If you have tried to work on your mindset and you have looked back and seen the errors you have committed, and you have looked around you and seen opportunity, and you try to do things differently, and you're still getting the results, what do you do in such a situation? Do you still think it is your personal philosophy at that stage, or just that it is time for you to move, or it is time for you to do something else? And this also takes me to the second question. How do you even know that you are actually fulfilling your own dreams? Like you are actually doing what you're supposed to do? Because I have had a lot of motivational speakers say, until you discover yourself, until you come to self-realization, until you find yourself, that's when you're going to begin to fulfill your purpose. What if you still have done so many things and you are yet to have a grasp of that thing that is you are called to do? How do you go about it? What best way can you approach this?
Okay, you are in the right place without question, because that question is what this course is about. So, and the beginning, I'm just giving, this is a tester session we are having. So you probably won't get all the answers in this session, but that's what this course is about. Workbook 2, if you have seen the books, Workbook 2, the title is Discover Your Purpose. I don't know if they can see it.
Say in the light of Genesis.
Can you see it?
You will put your potential.
I see that.
Can you see the workbook?
I can see it.
Yeah, discover your life purpose, vision, and mission. So you will definitely discover it, not guesswork. You will definitely discover it in this course. So you will know what your life is about, and you would now make a decision whether you want to fulfill it or not. That's what this whole course is about. Number one, I will challenge you. The first part of the course, Workbook 1, will just challenge you, like some of it's what we are dealing with, and we deal with it today. We did just the first topic is what we deal with now, and the rest of what we're doing today is to convince you that your life has a unique purpose to fulfill, that is real. But Workbook 2 is where we lead you to actually find it for you, so you'll identify it. It's not you just be hanging in the air and be hoping you'll find sometime. You will find it.
Yes.
And after finding it, we begin to take you through implementing it. I think the first thing we're establishing now is your decision is what drives your life. Your mentality is what drives your life. It's not an outside force. That's the main thing we are going to establish today, so that you stop thinking your mother-in-law is responsible or the government is responsible, or anybody else outside of yourself. That your question is answered in this course, but I'm not sure you will get the answer fully today, because what we are doing today is just a tester.
In this world as a result.
Yeah.
You have never considered this and find it difficult.
So any other, if you have any other question, yeah, sure, ask the question. Otherwise, please, you should be on the WhatsApp now, open the form from the WhatsApp and complete the workbooks, please.
How long are you giving to complete it?
It's 10 minutes from now, because we've already had some more time. I'm looking at that time. Somebody say you can't see the question. Did you manage to open the link? For me. You are muted, Fumi. I can't hear you. You are still muted. I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear anything. You're muted. If you can unmute yourself.
I'm seeing a workbook. I think I've seen it now. I'll just go through the work. Thank you, sir.
Okay then. Sister Evelyn, you can't read from your phone. I don't know how I can help you with that. But I would be surprised if you can, because you were able to fill the form earlier. So Actually, I need to stop that.
Okay.